Hi, guys. All right, so Libras, let's just go ahead and see where a storyline takes us. This is just a bonus for you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing, and happy Saturday, everyone. We have a King of Cups. We have the Four of Coins. I immediately look at this as two completely different characters, possibly both masculine because the king aspect, but we have somebody who's, arms are wide open, loving, no problem with expressing emotion, and then somebody else who has none of the ability to express emotion or to be generous or to be that open. Okay, so right there we go. That can't be the same person. Knight of Wands, I'm going to say Libra's like, hallelujah, it's raining men, or no. It feels like, well, trust me, the kind of energy that I probably will end up with is going to be whomever can match me in that loving emotional energy, because my heart's open. I love somebody with emotional availability. However, the Knight of Wands does say Libra could be attracted also to somebody who does not have the availability, and that could be a bit of a conundrum. It could be that Libra is going to be even surprised that they are drawn to somebody that is Five of Cups. Okay, so we could have Libra saying, there are two people on my mind right now that are both attractive to me. Admittedly, one comes across as a fairly tragic character, somebody who seems a little bit lost, somebody who's more focused on where they're at. They may be more focused on career, money, finance, wanting to move up in life, or maybe they already do have a lot and they're afraid of losing it. This can be a miser's card, but this is also somebody who is ultimately deeply unhappy. If Libra is drawn to this person or finds them attractive, it may be that Libra is an empath who is sensing their distress. World card. Okay, so please know these are fictional stories. Okay, so I'm not casting shade or judgment or anything here, but it could be a little bit where Libra's like, I would love to help them to change their world. I would love to be the person who helps them to get out of that funk. I would love to be the person who gets them moving beyond that stuck energy and maybe brings light back into their life. So it could be a little bit of, well-intentioned, like, I would love to see them smile. It almost hints that Libra's like, I could see us being, married and being really happy together. And I want that for them, but also I'm attracted to them. The only thing with that is, well, let's let the universe talk. Universe, what have you got to say to Libra about the person that doesn't seem to be very emotionally available? Page of Wands, Emperor, Six of Coins. There's like a word of warning in this. Betting on somebody who's only shown one face, but I'm sure they have a different face underneath the mask. You notice how he's taken off the scary mask and then he's wonderful. Could be a mistake. They might just be a page, a lost page, somebody that is not ever going to care about anybody else either, because they're too busy just trying to figure things out for themselves, thinking that, I know they come across that way right now. They come across as unhappy. They come across as somebody who's holding back and not very interested. But I'm sure that underneath it all, they're going to take off that mask and they're going to be this amazing emperor and we're going to have it all. The universe is just saying, or not, or they're just a lost page. Now, it's hard. It's like trying to know what kind of a present is in, a package that hasn't been unwrapped yet. It is hard to know, but this is where, if Libra is putting their mindset toward this person, like, oh no, I know this is how they're presenting. A page with their back turned to me, who's just out there doing their own thing, who's holding back, who's not giving any energy, but this is how I'm choosing to see them. The universe just might be making that distinction that if they are these wonderful things and there is a wonderful potential here, where's the evidence of it if this is what they're giving? So it is really important. I think it's important to honor who you're attracted to and why you're attracted to them, but it's also great to evaluate, okay, why am I attracted to this person? Because maybe this is Libra being drawn to somebody because they're empathic and they're like, oh, I can see this person has these problems, but I'm drawn to them for the compassionate energy that I feel, and I'm mistaking that for, you know, a potential romantic feeling, or I'm giving this person a different story that I in my compassion want them to have I want them to be an emperor. So I'm going to tell myself that they are that, even though what they're showing is page, and kind of disinterested page at that, because they're too focused on their own stuff. So there is just this gentle, like, hey, you know, look for the evidence to determine whether or not this is really someone. And do we have another message on this, universe? We have, yeah, the Magician sideways, wanting to manifest how something will go without having, like, okay, if I sat here and I said, I want to make a wonderful batch of lasagna, I'm going to manifest making that wonderful batch of lasagna. So by the time I'm done with this, somehow I'm magically going to have all of the ingredients in my fridge, which I don't. I have like 50% of the ingredients in my house right now to make a great batch of lasagna. Okay, that's not going to get me the lasagna. I would have to now physically go out and, you know, go to my kitchen and say, not only is the lasagna not made because I didn't make it yet, but I also don't have the stuff to make it. So manifesting without the actual ingredients is not necessarily possible. It is possible if you put in the effort and go get the ingredients. But the big question here is, does this person even have the ingredients? Or is Libra trying to manifest a future outcome with someone where they're never going to have the ingredients to be the emperor? They're a page, they're focused on other parts of their life. So it is just kind of, it's just the question. It doesn't mean that's how it is. It just says, consider. Okay, now let's go to the person who actually already matches Libra's energy, with those arms thrown wide open and everything is kind of stellar. And it looks like that person could be a really great match for Libra. Is Libra paying attention to whomever this King of Cups is? King of Wands in the reverse? No. No, Libra is not right now. In fact, I'm not even sure that Libra has noticed this person. Five of Swords and the Chariot. Libra will notice this person probably once they, because I'm going to say this is probably that person who's not, you know, the one who's the page. Okay, I'm going to say that they probably are the King of Wands, and I think Libra has been, even here, if you look at the way the cards were laid out. Whoops, I'll have to show them the way I see them, which is keep them in this order so we can see it. There's somebody who matches Libra's energy, but Libra's face is pointed toward the one that doesn't match Libra's energy. Okay, so that says a lot, and that probably explains why when I say, is Libra aware of the King of Cups? No, because they're still focused on the page, the person that they want to believe could be an emperor, but is actually, in this case, now we could call them a King of Wands, which is actually a very surly character, not heart-centered at all, quite selfish. That's the King of Wands in the reverse is a real difficult character, because of their, everything is like insatiably greedy. Like, I need all the attention, I deserve it, and they don't think about why that's wrong. They just go for it. So very difficult, very egotistical character. So egotistical that it's hard to wrap one's head around. How could they be that self-focused? You know, it's like, it's staggering, and it's like, because they can be. But I think with this storyline, what we see is Libra might still have been thinking too much about them and ignoring this amazing potential that is right there behind them, that wonderful, warm, you know, King of Cups. Now, I don't think Libra's going to put up too much longer with, you know, giving some of their sweet energy and caring and attention to this, you know, King of Wands in the reverse, because I think this is going to get fatiguing. This is like, something's got to give. If I've been trying to be friends with them and they're not even very polite, I think Libra's going to be like, oh, this sucks, I don't want to deal with you. And as Libra moves on from that, you know, page / King of Wands scenario, that could be where they finally are like, you know what? That water sign is looking pretty good. That King of Cups, yeah, Seven of Cups. It could still take Libra a little bit of time to recognize this person. Why is it that Libra doesn't seem to be recognizing someone who just out of the gate looks like they would match Libra's energy a little bit better for what Libra's looking for? Knight of Wands. Okay, so Libra still may have this idea in their head of what they find really attractive. One of the things about that King of Wands in the reverse is that they are very attractive because they are, they come across like somebody who is, how do I say this? It's easy, I think, to confuse an element of like confidence with somebody who's just so selfish, they don't think about anybody else. It's not that they don't care what others think of them, because they have great personal self-confidence and they're this evolved and mature and rational human being who's like, oh, I don't worry about if people like me or not. I just do the things that I feel are right. I'm governed by like my higher self. I'm rational. I make good decisions. Maybe I've had some tragedy in my life. Maybe I feel a little lost from time to time, but ultimately I have a good heart and I gravitate toward things that I think are important, whether or not people, disagree or agree with me. I am, I'm governed by, rational decision making and things that I have convictions and beliefs over. So I don't care what other people think of me. Sometimes we can think that's how somebody is, but it's not. In fact, what it is like, oh, I never thought about what anybody else needs or wants because I only think about what I need or want. I flirt when I feel like it. I eat when I feel like it. I could care less about whether or not those people that I just flirted with and ate meals with, they don't matter to me so much because I'm only here for a short time and it's to get what I want and keep on going on because I'm more concerned about my own needs. That sometimes is the way this can come across. And I think that's where, and maybe explains why. The only reason I'm putting such a negative spin on this is because they were the King of Wands in the reverse. I would not normally say all of that about a Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands don't have to be, exceptionally selfish or, any of those things. But when you couple this to describe a King of Wands in the reverse, oh, hell yeah. Aries is like, son of a bitch. Aries doesn't like that one bit. This comes across like, okay, it's very obvious now. It's very plain. It's very clear that if Libra is drawn to this person, they may have thought this person is very attractive because they come across as like self-possessed, but also kind of a tragic character. And Libra's still been thinking more about them and it has been attracted to a character like that. Again, maybe wanting to have somebody that they see as like this free spirit who devil may care what others think of me. I have strong convictions and this is the way I'm living my life unapologetically. Maybe that's a really beautiful trait that Libra likes, but I just think that they are, in this storyline, they're incorrect about though this character having those attributes. But that's why they haven't noticed the King of Cups, because the King of Cups is not going to come across that way. King of Cups is going to come across as somebody who is like super like, maybe gentle. They may not have swaggering, well, just this energy, I'm coming in to take what I want kind of energy. They don't have the bad boy, the bad girl vibe. They may be like really understanding. They may be much more gentle. They may be much more understanding. And that's maybe why it's going to take a little bit of time for Libra to recognize, oh, they have more of what I'm looking for. Just like it could still take Libra some time to figure out that the person that they have been attracted to and even said, oh, I think that person's been really wounded, but we could be really happy together. I'm deeply attracted to them. They've got this very sexy way about them, but it turns out it's just a selfish way. It's not a, like I said, it's not true confidence. It's selfishness. I think Libra is starting to figure that bit out, but they still haven't quite noticed the King of Cups, only because the King of Cups is such vastly different energy. And that's just not where Libra's mind has been. They're going to notice this King of Cups. Let me just ask a little bit more about the King of Cups. We have the Tower. We have the Eight of Swords. They may be thinking, Libra's never going to notice me. I can tell they're still very wrapped up in somebody else. They're not interested in me. And they could be bummed over this. They could be kind of like not coming around so much or keeping their distance from Libra because they see Libra's attention elsewhere. They don't know that's about to change. I do really think Libra's on the cusp of being done thinking about that, that King of Wands in the reverse. And I think Libra's going to say, what I would love to have is somebody that's like a nice person who has like emotional awareness and competency and they care about others. I think Libra's getting real fed up right about now with the individual that they cared about for quite some time. And I think they're about to notice this King of Cups. Seven of Pentacles sideways. I think maybe they already have. It's just that it's, it's kind of growing in their mind. I think that's why we had two people immediately in the very beginning of this. Almost like somewhere in the back of Libra's mind, they have clocked that King of Cups. They just weren't ready to turn their full attention, nor should they have been, because Libra has to get beyond the clutches of this very confusing and kind of selfish individual that Libra was giving a lot of compassion and maybe unwarranted, caring and good attributes to. But I think Libra's starting to say, I really want to be happy. I'd love to be with somebody that holds me close, that loves me right, that, I could kind of feel comfortable soaking into their energy and they into mine. This is starting to look good. This is starting to sound great. Let me just ask, is Libra going to have to gravitate toward this King of Cups? Because it feels like they think this will never happen. And I think it's more close to happening than it's ever been. Four of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. This is nice because it says Libra doesn't have to rush themselves. Still take some time, because there's no point in trying to, especially to jump into something with this King of Cups, who Libra is only maybe just now starting to, have this affinity for and think about in the back of their mind and say, God, that person has a lot of great qualities, a lot of the qualities I'm actually looking for. There's no point in trying to do that until Libra's fully healed, because otherwise they'd be forcing themselves. But it just kind of says this is already blossoming and growing. Maybe by springtime, everything's going to feel a lot different. And yes, Libra may step into a Queen of Pentacles energy, which is like, I want to grow. I want to give something. I may want to, reach out to this King of Cups. Let me just ask, how's this King of Cups going to handle this? Because I do see, not maybe right away, but it's pretty cute, because this King of Cups, first off, I think they're going to turn out to be so much hotter than Libra could have ever thought. I think that they have a quiet strength. I think that they are the person who would move heaven or hell for their partner. And I think if Libra is expressing any interest at all in them, they will do whatever it takes to be like, Libra, yes, I'm here. I mean, this is the person who will answer the phone on the first ring. This is the person that I think Libra's going to find out a lot. There's so much depth to this character. They may seem real cool, calm, and collected. They have a huge life story. This person is so much more interesting, and there's depth to them, and they are way more, they're kind of a hero that is, the unsung hero, the person that they don't come across as bold and flashy, but they're the real deal. Oh, I'm so happy for Libra. I'm so happy that Libra, this journey of seeing somebody who is not the right person and seeing them for what they are. I'm glad we got a storyline like this. We've been getting some pretty good Libra videos lately. This one is just such a refreshing, nice energy, and I'm so happy for Libra. All right, you guys, thank you for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.